Please stand in body or spirit as we sing our gathering hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are.
Oh, okay.
Come, come, whoever of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, despair. Come yet again, come.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Hillsborough. We are an open and welcoming congregation, so whoever you are, member, friend, or guest, we are glad you are here for the annual traditional end of summer, beginning of the congregational year ritual called Ingathering. We will be combining water that people have brought to share today into one communion bowl. In the bowl we have water from past communions. This is a special day for us, and we are glad all of you are here. And after the service, we invite you to join us for a time of fellowship happening outdoors. The coffee and drinks are set up in the library, but please head outside to consume them, leaving your masks on while you're indoors. There are chairs scattered in the shady areas. I would like to thank everyone who has made this worship celebration possible. It is truly a labor of love. I want to thank Aviva Enoch, our musical director, A.C. Farrington, who passes out the orders of service, David Yelton, who works tirelessly to do all the things, and the many other wonderful volunteers who make UUCH continue to hum along, from making coffee to writing checks to pay our bills to cleaning out the gutters. It truly takes a village, and there are more of you than I can name. My name is Caroline Welty, and I'm the worship associate today. Today we also welcome our speaker, Allison Mahaley, who serves as our moderator. Kind of like a chairman of the board of directors, but UUCH style. Allison earned her undergraduate and master's degree from Chapel Hill, where she studied education and school leadership. She truly believed she would spend her entire career in middle schools, but alas, she has recently reinvented herself as a public speaker, diversity and inclusion trainer, and consultant. Today she will lead our annual ritual of ingathering in the form of a water communion. Before we create our sacred space and begin worship, let us take a moment to share any announcements. Some of these are listed inside your order of service. I can share that the Governance Council is meeting in a hybrid session on Wednesday night at 7. Also at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday night, September 14th, everyone is invited to a special introductory meeting with Emily Harwood and her business partner, Emily Page, two Emilys. These two wonderful people are interested in partnering with UUCH in a long-term lease situation as they open a daycare. This first meeting will allow those of you who have been lovingly caring for our building and grounds to meet these fine young business people who very much want to make this place a semi-permanent home for their fledgling business. So if you're curious about the possibility or nervous about sharing, or eager to have an invested partner in the care and upkeep of our building, please come out. Wednesday at 5:30. Everyone is welcome, and then the GovCo is meeting afterward at 7 in a hybrid meeting. Are there any more announcements for the good of the community?
So on behalf of the worship team, I just wanted to give you all plenty of notice that we have a really special service on October 2nd. It's going to be a blessing of the animals, and it's going to be outside. Holly Lux Sullivan is going to be here, and you are invited to bring your pets to have them blessed for the service. And then I also wanted to say that our singing group, the Songbirds, who you'll get to hear this morning, we are meeting this evening in the sanctuary at 7 p.m., our regular second Sunday sing, and anybody is welcome to join us. You don't have to have sung with us previously. You are welcome to come.
Good morning. My name is Heather Kraft. I'm up here representing the RE, or Religious Exploration Community. There will not be RE today because our assistant's son has COVID, and so she can't come in, which is why we please need a couple more people to be volunteers, to be assistants. You just have to be in there and so that we don't have to cancel again. Also, make sure if you're a parent that you've registered your kids so that we have your contact information so that we can let you know if we need to cancel anything in the future.
My name is Diana Phillips, and I am the pastoral care person today. After the service, you'll find me near the coffee pot.
Hi, my name is Steve Mahaley. I'm just reminding folks that the Ministry Council meeting is happening today at 1 o'clock on Zoom. You should have the invite in your inbox. Thank you.
Do you want to say anything about the camera for the communion?
Oh yeah, so for those online for your viewing pleasure, there is a water cam today. So we have a camera for the speaker, but also we will, when we get to the water communion service, there will be a camera facing down at the water so that those online, and I know Amy is there right now, can participate visually.
Hi everybody, my name is Lou Gadol, one of the people that's been working over at AC's and Terry's place, and we are approaching a time when we're going to have to pack up the kitchen and a couple of other things probably. Sorry. Okay, we're approaching a time when we're going to have to pack up the kitchen over at AC's and Terry's, and I think we need to have people try to bring some cardboard boxes. It's hard for me to estimate how many we'll need, but right now I only know about 4 or 5 boxes that we have at the house right now. So if anybody has anything, an empty box at home that you could bring or donate or somehow get it to us, that would be great. Thank you.
Do you need more volunteers, Lou?
Excuse me. It's always a little bit hard to judge how many volunteers we need to have there at one time. However, we now have all entrances and exits cleared, which means that we can have more people there. And so, yeah, more volunteers, that would definitely speed things up. So if you can come, let's see, tomorrow actually will be the next day. And by Wednesday, we have to be finished.
Hi, some of you know I'm actually from Alamance County, so come up here because I love the community so much. But I was speaking with a friend of mine who owns a store called The Muse in downtown Graham. It's a black woman-owned business owned by Dee, and she, well, actually goes by gender neutral pronouns. So they are unfortunately leaving the Graham area and moving to Portland, Oregon. Now, Dee has also been very involved in some of the social justice work in Graham related to hopefully bringing down a Confederate statue that her store actually looks out onto, and in part because of that work, it's been really difficult for her to have a public storefront in beautiful Graham, North Carolina, in Alamance County. And I'm very, very sad to hear that she's leaving, but at the same time, I understand the amount of, the work it takes to be an activist and how quickly that can burn you out, and I'm glad that she's going to take some time to refresh. In the meantime, the Muse, downtown Graham, has amazing clothing. Please see my beautiful belt. She's looking to get rid of inventory, and I highly recommend if you're looking for a fun accessory or some cute clothes, they'll also style you, and just a wonderful person. It's a tough loss for our community, but I want to support them in their next move. So consider some shopping.
If there are no more announcements, let's silence our cell phones, put them in worship mode, and for everyone's protection, keep our masks on and ready ourselves for worship together by reminding ourselves of who we are and why we gather. We are a community of liberal, open-minded people who strive to connect with one another in love. We are a people defined by covenant, not creed. That means that we have committed to a way of being with one another rather than to a statement of belief. To that end, we support each other in spiritual growth and deepening of faith. We challenge one another to find more love, both inside ourselves and in the world. And today, we welcome you with open arms to our house of worship. Now, let us create sacred space for shared worship by lighting our chalice. The chalice is the UU symbol for the light of truth that each of us seeks, the light of hope that each of us brings, and the eternal light of love that our relationships foster.
Try that. It's okay.
Our call to worship today is The Spirit of Water by Katie Galfan. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together we honor the Spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence. Please stand in either body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 1007 in the Teal hymnal, There's a River Flowing in My Soul.
There's a river flowing in my soul.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday, we take some time to reflect on the special happenings that have occurred this week among our members and friends. Some choose to share aloud, while others choose to remain silent, and here we make room for both. For those of you who would like to share aloud, please take a moment before we begin to center yourself and collect your thoughts so that what you share this morning is personal, heartfelt, and brief. Please come forward, tell us your name, and share what is in your heart. When you are finished, you may release a stone into the vase on the altar. If you are joining us online and would like to share with those here, please chat in your joys or concerns and indicate if you would like that they be read aloud here, and then we'll drop a stone for you. For those of you who prefer to silently acknowledge your joys and sorrows remaining in your hearts, I invite you to come to the altar and release a stone into the vase in silence while Aviva plays Spirit of Life. After everyone is seated, you are all invited to join in singing one verse of the hymn, and the words are printed in your order of service. We hold all these things within the heart of this community, both spoken and unspoken, by remaining silent for a moment as we consider what has been shared and how we might respond. May the community respond, Amen and blessed be.
Good morning, everyone. This is always my favorite ritual. I love this ritual so much that I decided to change it. Even though we're not having RE, I do want to go ahead. I want to take a special time with just the children. But before we do that, I want to add the water to the bowl that we collected last year. So at the end of the ritual each year, we take some of the water and freeze it and keep it in our freezer in case we need to have special ceremonies during the year, and then we bring it out for the ritual this year. And so when I add the water to the bowl, I'm adding water that has been part of our community over the years. I'm bringing in people that are no longer here, people who have moved on, and the spirit of love that was created last year. So that's the first thing that I'll do, is put the water from last year into our bowl. And now, I would really, first of all, I want you to know that there are 17 people in that yurt out there that are starting the Our Whole Lives curriculum today. There are multiple adults and children, and they are kicking off their year as well as us kicking off our year out there. And so I want to hold them in our hearts. But we also have younger children, youth, whose class was canceled today because of COVID. And look at us still wearing masks. Who would have thought last year that we would still be wearing masks when we did Ingathering this year? But here we are. So I'd like to take a special time for everyone who is planning to teach RE this year, and the children, to please come up for this beginning part of the ritual. Would you all please come on up? Tanae, would you come? And as they come, I want to remind everyone that we all start in water. We all begin floating in that amniotic fluid that mimics the ocean. And so before us, these children who were most recently in the womb, I just want to allow them to be the first to add water to our bowl, and to remember that they are our future. They are part of what will be going on next year and in years to come as we continue to grow and evolve as a religious community. And let us always keep the future at the center of what we do today. And so I would like for you, if you've never done this before, you get to take a little bit of water. You can choose the pitcher or a glass or whatever, and you're only going to pour a few drops in, okay? And then the teachers can do it. Go ahead and add a little bit.
Come on, Tanae. Which one do you want to pick?
And I want us all to appreciate the wonderful work of these RE teachers who will be with us from time to time. Perfect, Tanae, thank you. And then stay up there. Stay there, Tanae. And now the teachers add some. Okay, now this is when it's going to get really weird and different. I want you to dip your finger into that big bowl and get it wet and touch the forehead of somebody near you and anoint them with your love. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we would normally send you off to class, but we're not going to do that, so I'm sorry you have to sit through the rest of the ritual.
Yay, you get to sit through the rest of the ritual.
Yay, it's all the way you present it, right? Okay. The history of water communion, as I shared a few weeks ago, originated in the women's movement within the UUA, when women were asserting their rights and seeking a different kind of worship service, one that was not rooted in the patriarchy of the past. The water communion was one such ritual that has become widely adopted. In our congregation, we have traditionally poured water into the bowl, sharing where we brought the water from and how special our summer travels were to us. But this year feels quite different. So many people are still not traveling because of health or finances. Some tried to travel and ended up trapped in hotel rooms or in some kind of other travel purgatory because they tested positive. So this year, I would really love it if we could save our travel stories for coffee hour. This year, I think of the water in more dimensions than just where it comes from. And I'm only going to touch on 4 today, but there are so many more. And so I'm going to be inviting people to the altar 4 different times. And if you end up coming up more than once, that's okay. You can even come up all 4 times if you want. So first of all, let's think of water as tears, flowing down sad faces when grief or frustration has overcome us. At this time, I invite anyone who wants to acknowledge grief, either with their water that they brought or with the water that's in these small cups up on the altar, to come forward and put a small amount of water into the bowl to symbolize the tears that they have spilt over this year, and say a word or phrase out loud to let us know how so, if you would like. You can just do it from up here. Yeah. Just a word or phrase.
Marital difficulties. Not mine.
My mother.
In memory of Nancy.
Cancer.
My dog, Ginger.
Obligations.
My friends lead in Paul Softly.
Next, let's think of water as cleansing. It washes away dirt and grime, and it renews us. I would like to invite anyone who has had a cleansing experience this summer, such as going on a retreat, shedding a bad habit, letting something go, anything really that feels like a relief or a fresh start. Please come and add some water to the bowl.
Cataract removal. Moving close to my daughter.
The UK?
Definitely makes quitting Starbucks feel smaller in scale.
A 39-day cross-country road trip.
Celebrating the first 75 years of my life and time.
Let's think of water as refreshing, renewing, and generative. It quenches our thirst and gives us life. If you have had experiences this summer, or even just used water to make coffee or tea to share with a friend that renewed your spirit, please come and add some water to the bowl and say a word or phrase about that.
Wonderful, inspiring UU Musicians Conference.
UUCH coffee hour. A new job full of love and support.
The many, many, many waters crossed to travel across the country to be in nature again with friends.
Evan Woody's wedding.
even though water can be a destructive force, when it comes in too much at one time in the form of a flood, or even in a slow trickle that winds its way through the Grand Canyon and erodes things away, or it can even be used as a means of torture, as we learned years ago that our own government was participating in. We have to acknowledge, though, that water unites us. Water is both inside our bodies and covering most of the earth. It's ours, it flows from our eyes and from the sky. And it is quite amazing. So you may have brought some water from a far off place or from your tap at home. It may be from a city supply or an underground aquifer. But we are all connected by water. And today we want to symbolize our connectedness and interconnectedness by combining all of our waters in this annual ritual. So for this, I would like everyone to come forward and add some water to the bowl. Even if you've already come up once or twice or 3 times, and come up one at a time, and then the next person come up. And after you've added your water to the bowl, I want you to dip your finger in it and wait for the next person to add their water, and then anoint them with your love, if you would, please. So we'll have, if we could start on this side of the room and let you all come up. And Aviva, if you would play a little music for us, that would be wonderful. Add a little water. And then come over here. Turn around while she adds some water. Dip your finger in it. And anoint her with your love. And go this way. Got it? Everybody? receive it? Did you already get anointed?
Yes.
Oh, I just want to make sure we didn't leave you out. No, we got, I've gotten mine. I just went through two with you because we love you so much. Thank you very much. Let us take this moment to recognize our interconnectedness and the blessing that we are to one another. The water that we have brought together today will carry us through this congregational year and into the future. So thank you all, and blessed be.
Each week, we take a monetary offering to support our social justice work in the community, and this support comes in the form of donations. This month, our community partner is New Hope Elementary. You may donate by putting cash or a check in the basket. Make checks out to UUCH and put plate in the subject line, and you may also donate online by going to our website or scanning the QR code that's in your bulletin. And we will enjoy music from the Songbirds while we pass the basket.
Lay yourself down on the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime. Lay yourself down on the rocks now. Let your body down in the river. Listen for the drumming on the other side. Lose yourself in the meantime.
The next hymn, and stay up.
John, oh, I have to go to the other side. John, arrange thyself.
Please join me in our prayer of collective gratitude found in your order of service. For the love that surrounds us every morning, for the friends beside us, and for the generous gifts just received, let us be truly grateful. Please rise and bow to your spirit for our closing hymn, which is Peace is Flowing Like a River, and I think the words are in your orders of service.
Let's get this
Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Joy is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Love is flowing like a river, setting all the captives free. Peace is flowing like a
Our closing words today are All Rivers Run to the Sea by Kaylee Rice.
Should we sit?
Oh, yes, please be seated. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling toward its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in the sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea. Now we're going to extinguish the chalice. The words are printed in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace and blessed be.